The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms, a community that sees all things new. I am Sonny Jaldon. I am streaming live from San Jose, California.
And I'm Haydee Jaldon, streaming live from the Cebu, Philippines.
Good
And
morning,
you're
good
watching
afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome. You are watching Money and
TNC
More
and more.
on TNC. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. And before we start the show, I'd like to greet Heidi, my wife. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. And alam mo, nagkakamali-mali ako kanina kasi I'm just so excited for tonight's episode.
Yep.
And, this is our last episode for this season. And
Oh,
we have a very, very interesting guest for tonight
yes.
who inspired me. No, I just watched her in one of the events in TNC, and she she got me. So hindi pa pwedeng hindi natin siya kunin as a guest tonight.
Yes, I only met her today, but she's a very inspiring figure, very energetic, and I like it. No? Just a little thing about what's happening right now. So, kumusta naman dyan, Heidi? Nag-start ng summer, I hear.
It has started sunny and it's so hot. Our temperature here would
Mm-hmm.
run about 38 to 40
Mm-hmm.
degrees Celsius every day. So I'm actually telling everyone to take care, and they have to hydrate. Make sure they have water in their car. They
Mm-hmm.
have water everywhere kasi
Right.
grabe, ang dami nang naka-heat stroke dito.
Right, that's what I heard too. No, so the summer is coming in, and spring is also here. Moving into summer here in the U.S., and things are getting hotter. Umiinit na. The biggest news, of course, was last week that the Fed, the central bank in the United States, has increased interest rates again, but it might be the last interest rate hike. So that has
Mhm.
effects on long term investments. No, we'll see how long this will last, because we want to fight the beast that is inflation. So that affects money, not only here in the States but around the world as well, right? At umiinit din kasama ng panahon, right, would be the housing market here in the US, and that is why it's very timely that we have our special guest who will talk to us about the opportunities in real estate investing here in the US. Mhm.
Agree. So she's known to be the flipper queen, no? Who started her business
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, and she has also gone through a lot of trials
Mm-hmm.
before she had success in this industry. So she has been inspiring a lot of women, a lot of people through what
Mm-hmm.
she does, including me. And without any further ado, I'd like to call in our special guest for tonight, none other than Miss Marjorie Carlette Edmonds.
Hi everyone! Hello,
Hello.
California! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Right.
How
Welcome
are
to the
you?
show, Miss Marjorie. Good evening.
Good
Thank you for taking your
evening.
time to being here tonight. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you, thank you. Same here. So
Right.
excited.
It's great to see you at last. Now, please introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us something about yourself, a little bit of your life story, and later on a little bit about your business and your advocacy.
And I'm from the Philippines, and then I moved to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii I moved to California. And
Okay.
they started to call me the Flipper Queen
You.
because the normal flipper, especially new ones, new flippers. So what is house flipping? We'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
But basically, a normal house flipper would do about 7 in a year. But I was able. This is only this month is my second year anniversary, and I already did
Oh,
26 flips, house flips with
wow.
me
Wow.
and my investors. So I am so grateful that I am in the position that I am so that I could teach more, because the more houses you touch, it's not a matter of years in the industry. It's a matter of how many houses you're able to touch and to flip.
Mhm.
And that makes you a better house flippers, you know?
Right.
So I'm fortunate and I'm grateful and humbled that I was able to have been given that chance to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, right. For our audience in the Philippines, we will understand what house flipping is because it's probably something new. But these are things that I actually see on TV, flipping houses, right?
Mhm.
I never thought that in my in my head that actually I'd actually meet a real live house flipper.
House flippers, but it's
Right, there
not
you
like
go.
a
And the
cheesy
flipper queen.
part. Yeah, the queen, like a
And
farm
the Flipper
woman,
Queen at
right?
that.
The best part, like I remember when I was young, they always said like when I was young, there's this one really important person in my life that's a millionaire, and she's like, "Do you want it to be famous or do you want it to be rich?" And I have to think about that because famous um, has a lot of disadvantage, and so I was like, I want to be rich, like forget being famous. But then all of a sudden, my name is regurgitated like the Flipper Queen. I was like, I guess one day I'm gonna be famous, but
Why
it's
not both,
And
right?
not,
rich.
but it's
Ah,
not TV. Like it's not television, right? Like it's real life flipping. It's hard, a lot of crying, a
Right.
lot of
Right.
crying, a lot of like fun,
Okay.
but there's also a lot of responsibility.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a lot to talk about. Actually, we have three things to talk about. We'll be talking about number one, you mentioned it, house flipping,
Yeah,
right? So that's something. House flipping and the challenges and opportunities in house flipping.
yeah.
Real estate investing. Okay. Estate investing right now. What's the opportunity there? And
Yeah.
number three would be about empowering women.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you've been in the business for about 2 years now. You said your anniversary,
Years.
right?
Yeah.
And things are
this
happening
one.
in the U.S. housing market.
Yeah.
Can you give us like just a little bit of overview of the housing environment right now in the U.S.?
Well,
What are
in
driving the
okay,
changes
so
that are
as a
happening?
real estate investor, I think a lot of people think like, oh, okay, if you're a real estate investor, you cool down on like if it's a bad market or a good market.
Right.
But real estate investing, actually the times like this when there's not a lot of buyer is when you actually get better deals. And
Okay.
as you drive the deals down, which means you're buying I'm gonna put it in layman terms instead of
Okay.
like the real estate investing world. So
Right.
basically when there's times right now there's not a lot of buyers, we as a real estate investor have opportunity to pick and choose. It's when the market is hot that we actually don't make a lot of money. It is in a market like this that we make more money because
Hmm.
we're able to have deals that normally not available to us when the market is hot.
So you're saying like right now it's a seller's market right now.
Right
Is
now
that
is
right?
actually a buyer's
A
market.
buyer's
Buyer's
market. Okay.
market.
It's a buyer's market at this time, but because it's a buyer's market, there's a lot more lower price house for investors.
Oh,
So
okay.
so when you're doing house flipping, you have to look at it as investment. So it's deal analysis. Just like if you're gonna sell something, you have to buy it really low and then you have to sell it really high.
Right.
So it's the same thing with flipping houses. Just like if you're flipping, if flipping is not just for houses. I started with selling, like going to state sale and getting like some odd ashtray for like $4 and selling it in the internet for $135. That's how
Wow.
I started. So it's not like and then I kind of graduate to flipping houses, but in the
Right.
beginning, the ask you have to think about it like this is a common thing. You're flipping. If you are kung you're selling turon in, sa palengke or in the market, it's the same thing, right? You're flipping a banana to a better product and then you're selling it to all of us who wants to eat banana Q or turon. So it's the same aspect. Just if you think about it in a small scale, it's the same thing. But now this is not play money, like
Right.
it's not couple pesos. This is like thousands and thousands of dollars. So there's a big responsibility to my family and also to my investor. My family, because I could lose everything and my
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have anything. And then to my investor who trusted me with their money to
Mm-hmm.
flip it to a better profit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
So.
I just realized, son, when I was there after the wedding, I'm the kind of person who cannot stand doing nothing. So I had to, uso pa kasi noon yung wala, walang face mask holder sa US. It's only in the Philippines that has that.
Oh, what?
So I
Mm.
tried to look for the marketplace in the US and saw that it's very expensive. So I tried to make some and sell it at a higher price.
Yeah.
So that's actually a flipper already in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's
So
what your mindset is. You have to learn how to buy low or make a better product.
yeah, right.
Right.
Well, that in the flipper world, that's called force appreciation. So you're
Okay.
getting
Oh,
like force appreciation. That's what we called it. We're forcing the price up because we're making a better product. We're getting it like ugly or not safe to
and
any,
beautify it.
and then it's not for me as a flipper. That's why I think I'm a good flipper. There is a bad flipper out there, by the way. So there's people out there that I will never buy a house from. But as a mom, this is what I always say. It's hot in Fresno. It gets 117 degrees. I mean, that is hot with dry heat. And I said, I will never sell a house with no AC. I don't care if my profit goes down 10 grand, but I will not put, because I don't know who's my end buyer. It could be a single mom with two kids. And I
Right.
want to make sure that AC is running when they needed it and
Mm-hmm.
the central heat is running when they needed it. And that's just how I am as a person, and I always think about the other person, the end buyer, and I make sure my house is safe.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you add value to the properties that you buy, which
Yeah.
is essentially flipping, right,
Yes.
and making a profit over the difference.
Yes.
I think that's how I understand it now.
Yeah.
But
Let me
there
tell
are, of
you, do you
course.
want the numbers? Like, you want the
Sure.
number? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Why not?
flipping a house right now. I call it the Adeline house. We always name the houses on the street.
Adam.
Not knowing that I'm actually gonna flip on the same street. So like now I have like Harrison 1, Harrison 2. But
Okay.
I was like, so on the Adeline house, we got it at 350,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sell it. We're going to flip it with about 35 to $40,000 in rehab or renovation cost. And
Okay.
then we're gonna put that in the market for $499,000.
So a
Right.
profit
And
of
in
around
between,
100 grand.
that's gross profit, like around
Mm-hmm.
100 grand. But of
Right.
course, we still have to pay a lot. We have to pay taxes. We have to pay what we call the hard money cost, the interest,
Right. Mm-hmm.
borrowing that money. And then we also have to pay, our real estate agent when they sell the property. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, you're probably come out with like $60,000 in 4 months. So, I
That's
mean,
a that's
4
That's a
months.
lot.
And if, yeah, and if you're doing 3 or 4 houses,
Mm-hmm.
$60,000, that's about $180,000 in profit
In
every
profit.
year. And I mean,
Nice.
yeah,
40.
it's a
If
nice,
four
it's a,
houses, it's 240, right?
huh? Sorry,
If
say,
What?
it's four houses, it's about 240.
yes, it's like $240,000 in a quarter. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good profit. It's not always a jackpot. There's always also I lose money too. This is not play money. This is not,
Of
monopoly money.
course.
So I do lose money, but in the long run, if you do calculated risk, which
Mm-hmm.
means you try your best to make sure you buy low and you sell high, at the end you're always getting some profit there.
Yeah, that's
Exciting.
interesting. That's exciting times. These are interesting times, especially since well, home ownership is well, it's an issue. Okay, home ownership is an issue here in the states, and it's also well, it's not an issue, but rather a dream, right?
Yeah.
Home ownership is a dream, whether you're in the states, whether you're in the Philippines, but in the U.S. context,
Mhm.
home ownership has its own let's say mechanics, right?
Yes.
So if I'm a first time home buyer, if I'm looking to move out to a smaller place, so there's a lot of dynamics that are involved. Okay, here's a good question.
Sige.
For the first time home buyers,
Yes.
what would be
So
the
I'm
first
gonna
steps?
ask the question, Sunny.
Yeah, what would be the first steps, or what are the first things that you should consider when making a major financial decision as buying a home?
As a first time home buyer, I think the first thing is you have to be courageous. I bought my first home, and that's how I was able to get $75,000 to start my flipping career, because
Okay.
I bought my first home. Me and my husband bought it in 2015. And during that time, the market is actually not very good too to buy
Okay.
a home. And everybody was still always scared to buy houses, right?
Right.
So as a first time home buyer, don't think about it like now. You're gonna get scared, it's gonna be tough, budget's gonna be tight. But think about it in a long term, like in 5 years, how much is
Hmm.
that house gonna cost? And it's same thing during pandemic, I bought my second home. So when I bought my second home, everybody's scared to buy. And I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy my second home. And my husband said, what are you doing? So my for the first time home buyers out there, do if you can afford it, the question is, can you afford it right now? So if you can afford it, and make sure that you just have enough money to cover that mortgage. And if you need to, like, don't buy the most expensive one that you want, buy the one that you can afford. So if you can afford the house in 5 years, you can definitely afford that house. So you then sell that house or keep that house as a rental and you buy another one. So just be courageous and
Okay.
be brave enough to step, because this is what I'm thinking. Hindi naman ikaw yung naunang bumili ng bahay. There's so many people that already bought their houses. So what makes you
Right.
scared is just you, because it was already a repeated process over and over again, right? Like, so
Hmm.
for anybody that's scared, just jump in there. And what, you lose it? If you ever lose it, like me, like I never attached to a property. If I ever lose it, then we start all over again. But
Okay.
more so than not, real estate would always a forgiving investment. If you could
Oh
hold
yeah.
it, it will give you so much money then.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So,
That's really inspiring to hear that from you, because I was probably in the same position of owning my first property. Was a leap of faith and courage on my part as well,
yeah.
and I have Heidi to thank for that. On a personal note, yeah. Just like you, when I was 27, you said you started when you were when your discernment started in 27. You didn't know what to do
Yeah.
with your life. I was in the same boat. I was 28 actually, and didn't know what to do with my life before I found the financial services as an industry which I fell in love with. And yeah, so I totally agree. It took a leap of faith, a leap of Heidi faith, right,
Yes.
for me to purchase my first property because of her,
Yeah.
and it was life changing, as you mentioned, right?
And
It's life
like, and there's
changing.
no age too.
Hmm.
I bought my first house at 33, you guys. So a lot of people are like, I'm too old or I'm too young or whatever. Like whatever it is that your position right now, just do it. It doesn't matter your age. It's not too late. It's not too early. You just have to. Most of the time, it's just the one step. You know.
Yeah,
It's
agree.
a big
But
leap of
what I
faith.
have noticed there in the US, Marge, unlike here in the Philippines,
Mhm.
um, homeowners can directly sell their houses just to anyone, right? They don't have to pass through a real estate agent. But in there, you really have to pass through a real estate agent. So,
Yes.
what is actually the role of real estate agents in guiding clients through their decisions or through these decisions in buying a home?
Well, the real estate agent is actually, licensed to sell a property. So I never
Mm-hmm.
sell my property. I always use a real estate agent because they're knowledgeable. And also, it's a liability as a flipper,
Yeah.
as a real estate investor, to actually sell your property by yourself because you're basically disclosing like everything is good, like everything is good. And so I'm going to sell it to you. But a real estate agent, their role is to guide not just the seller like me or the buyer too, because I buy and sell, right?
Right.
So it's not just to guide one or the other. It's basically guiding the process to make sure it's legally feasible to do it and to make sure everything the all the T's are crossed and the dots are, in there and just basically a guidance. It's more like a guard. You see
Okay.
how that goes? Like if you have a guard of legalities around you, I never question that because I know that it's just going to be a better transaction if I follow the rules.
Okay. Right. And I understand that yeah, real estate is pretty highly regulated, especially here. Especially here in California. That's why you need that partnerships with realtors and agents to make the
Yes.
business run.
Yes.
Just like anything. But there's a lot of opportunity for people who know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting about house flipping. So let's talk about that. It's not a very usual business. It's actually very pretty unusual for anybody to get started in house flipping. So to our Filipino audience
Yes.
who are unfamiliar probably with the concept of house flipping, can you tell us about that and what what happened? What's the trigger? What's the event that inspired
What
you towards this
inspired
career?
her?
Yeah. Okay. So I always wanted to be a house flipper because in America, house flipping is a rock star career. Because
Oh yeah,
Mm.
like it's almost like, oh wow, like how do you do that? How do you even start? Actually, my husband doesn't even know how I do this.
okay, all right,
It's like it's hard to explain honestly.
okay,
Um, but what is house flipping is like you have to know a lot of numbers. Like you have to learn how to analyze a deal, and there's the art of dealing.
hmm
And so what started me as a house flipper. So basically, house flippers again, buying low, making it safe and habitable, which means somebody can actually live there under the FHA law.
right,
FHA is actually a guide that's like this house is good and safe, and it can be, somebody can live here. Because some of the things that a lot of people thinking, like some people don't like house flippers because they felt like I'm just wanting money, but in reality house flipper creates win-win situation. So
okay,
example, let me give you an example of a person that I help. Their mom passed away, and so this person ended up not paying the house for 2 years. So
okay,
a bank is going to collect this house and lose all their equity because they don't pay it for 2 years. And so I come in as an investor and I said, here's my offer. By the end of the time, I'm going to pay the bank the money that you owe, and then you're going to get $40,000 at the end so you can start your life over.
okay,
So then I come in as that. And so that a person that's stuck in a situation can start their life again for the
hmm
better and wipe the slate clean, right?
nice,
Because
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, when a person that's selling a house is a distressed person or the house is distressed,
hmm
it's not going to pass any law. Nobody can live on that house.
right,
Or sometimes they're so embarrassed to even open their house because of the situation that gone through,
hmm
right? So now that's where I come in, and I come in as I know what I'm doing. I could look in the house and I said, okay, I know what to do. Tell me the year, tell me the location, tell me everything, and I could analyze the situation and make a better offer.
Okay. How does one start to be a house flipper? How did you start?
Well, networking. I
Okay.
didn't know what I was doing, so I found it's there's called an Asian Hustle. Shout out to Asian Hustle Network. Asian Hustle Network is a good way. You should be there. It's in
Oh,
Las Vegas every year. But I found this group that started also during the pandemic. It's Asian Hustle Network, and I said, if I'm gonna be a house flipper, I wanted to know the biggest, baddest house flipper out there. So I found Elisa Covington Singh, and through her, I found all her friends. That's a house flipper in the Bay Area where you are
Where
from.
you are.
And so then from there on, I found all their friends until I found one of her friends. Name is Tom Tran, and that's my mentor, and Dean Higa. And they have believed in me when I'm nobody. They gave me a code to join them during a 2 months of like, this is a special code that they gave certain amount of people, and I was able to learn from them for 1 month. And I said, I'm gonna do this, and I did it. And all of a sudden, I proved to them that I could do one on my own, and I made money on that transaction. And they said, do you want to flip with us? And that's when I know.
oh,
But how that happened is every time they say, hey, do you want to pull carpet? I will drive 3 hours from Fresno to San Jose and pull carpet and then come back to Fresno. And then they said, hey, we're going to have lunch for this particular flipper group. I would drive 3 hours to go there, have lunch, come back and start working. Because during that time when I started, I'm still working. So I
Mm-hmm.
would do that. I would do sacrifices like that. And then they realized I'm serious. Now I'm like, honestly, I felt like I'm also on the same level as them now. Because when I go to event, they go, oh my gosh, the flipper queen is here. And so now
wow.
I'm recognized as the flipper queen. And then I remember the last event that I was there, somebody come to me and shake my hand. It's like, I don't know how you do it, but I was in that Zoom call when Tom was teaching us this, and now you're in the same level as them two
Ooh.
years after. And I didn't even start one flip. And I just want to hug you, congratulate you. That makes me realize, like, okay, this is not like normal. It is more than likely the honest truth is God paved way, and then it paved way to a bigger purpose, which I
Mhm.
think we're gonna ask next.
Great. That's
Like, what
great.
is the
That's
bigger
great.
purpose of all this, right?
So,
Right.
how long did it take you after, attending meetings, asking from mentors what to do? How long did it take you to start on your own?
To
Okay,
make
so
yeah.
I sold my house on April. So April, like the beginning of April. So I
Mhm.
have $75,000. And I know if I keep the $75,000, because that's the biggest money that I ever got from a sale
Right.
of my very first home, me and my husband. So my husband's really scared, like 75,000. That's a lot of money. What are you gonna do with it? And he said just put it in a bank. I said, no, we gotta invest it to make more money. Right. And so I said, I'm gonna be a house flipper. My husband looked at me like, what is he gonna do? And so that's $75,000. It was April, the beginning of April. On April 19, I start working with Tom, my mentor. It's free of charge.
Mhm.
And I proved to them that I could do it. I flipped my first house. I found my first house and I closed it on May 26th. And I flipped that property. And that property has escalated me to the next level and to be with a
So
house.
that first house cost how much when you bought it?
The first flip or the
First flip.
first property? First
First
flip.
flip.
Okay, so the first flip is 20 2021. I bought it at 242 500.
Okay.
Then after that, I then sold it at 395
Whoa.
to
After all gross, yeah, a little
yeah.
over 100K.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with all the taxes and everything, I think I took like I profit like $98,000
90. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
on
about
that.
right.
Yeah, but of course you're gonna get taxed on that. So what I did is transfer that money to another property. It's called 1031 exchange.
A 1031 exchange. That's
Yeah,
right.
so anybody that's from United States, if you're not familiar with that, if you ever take out a money from a sale of a house that you never live in for 2 years, that is a taxed money, which means 30% of that goes to Uncle
The
Sam.
IRS.
Yes, the IRS. So then you have to go ahead and make sure you plan for that money. So I don't need that money. I am equity rich and cash poor. If somebody knows that, not because I'm telling you guys I've made $1,000, I made $200,000. Like I'm, close to becoming a millionaire. It doesn't mean that I have physical money in my
Cash, right?
hand. It means all those are in properties, and so
Okay.
those are called investment, right? So I'm very grateful that I was able to just keep flipping after that. But now
Uh,
I flip now, hardly flip with my own money. I partner. It's called
okay.
JV, which is a joint venture. And
Great.
so I partner with people that has money.
Great.
I just love flipping. I just love yelling at the construction worker and also taking them the next day. And I love taking out walls. I love every part of like the beginning to the end. I love being dirty in the construction zone. But there's people out there, you guys, that has money that doesn't want to even touch
Like a
anything.
hammer. Right.
Yeah. So they just said, I don't even want to be involved. I will buy the property. You do it. We'll just 50-50 split. And
Okay.
that's how I get to the 26 houses, because I did partner with partnership with other people that has more money than me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like sound investment advice. Other people's money, flip it over.
Other people's money for sure. But
Other people's money.
it doesn't happen until you have to prove yourself to the investors, right?
Ah, okay.
Think about it. A lot of people, though, so be careful on the gurus out there that said you could do this with no money. You could do this. Just join
Yes. What's up with that?
$5,000. Like, just do this with no money. But honestly, you have to stop that, because you have to stop thinking about it that way. Because honestly, if I say I come to you guys, right? You're the investor, you have a lot of money because you're a financial advisor, and I said, hey, can you let me borrow $500,000 or like $200,000? And you said, why? What are you gonna do with the money? I'm gonna go do a house flipping. And the first thing you're gonna ask me is what?
What-
Do
you know,
you've been
have you ever done it before?
how many house did you flip? And then you go, well, this is my first house. So it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you're not gonna learn from my money, right? You're gonna lose it. This is your first house, and between me and you, we don't know what we're doing because I'm the money
Right.
people, and you're supposed to know, but you've never even done it. It's your
Of course.
imagination. So now that I said to people, I did 26 houses. Oh yeah, here's my money. Even my brothers
Easy
and
market.
my brothers and my sisters were like, how much do you need? I have that in my bank account. Here's my money. Because I know they already know. I never ask them to invest, but they see how I run my investment, my flips. So you have to prove to somebody that you can do it. You have to also take all the time that you can to understand the process.
Well, you've definitely done that with flipping 26 houses so far.
So
Right.
far,
And more
Just
to come.
2 years.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have a 7-house deal coming actually.
Ooh.
Wow.
7 house and a compound. That's the
Wow.
biggest. Exciting.
Wow, what an inspiration. Okay. So we're really excited with having this conversation. But for now, let's take a short break. Okay. And we'll be back with Marjorie. The new channel is an online alternative news media platform for online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on the screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you.
TNC claims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our channel is a responsible global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity.
Yeah. Watch You can watch Money and More, um, Tuesdays 5:30 a.m. Tuesdays 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Tuesdays 8:30 p.m. in the Philippines. You can watch live or replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Listen to us on Spotify and the Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNC now. For
Yes,
sponsorship,
and we
sorry.
are also accepting sponsorships. You just have to email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a direct message. Enjoy these life changing shows because we made them specially for you.
All right, and we are back with this very engaging episode with Miss Margie Edmonds,
The
the
Flipper
Queen,
Queen.
the Flipper Queen. All right, welcome back, Miss Margie.
Hello.
Yes, Miss Margie. And we're talking about real estate, right? And house flipping, which is not very popular here in the Philippines.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about opportunities in this space, Miss Marge. So, you have dedicated yourself on crafting dream homes for your clients, no? So, kasama na din kami doon. Yun din ang dream namin. And that extends to empowering women through real estate investing. Kasi before, when you talk about doing construction jobs, it's always the men, right? And now, please tell us about what opportunities for financial prosperity in this field
Yes.
through empowering women who would want to do this, like
Yeah.
yourself.
So basically, 3% of house real estate or house flipper or real estate investor in general are women, and 97% are men. So out of the
Oh,
100% statistic, only 3% are women. And I'm not sure when was all this conversation that we are left out, that we don't know that if we know it exists, we don't even know how it exists without us not being there. And so when I've learned, a lot of my mentors are actually men. And I told them, like, please teach me. And in return, I really wanted to teach this to women. So it's not a matter of like, is it this man against woman type of thing, right? It's more like find a man that's willing to teach us women how to do this so that we were also can be financially stable, so that we don't have to depend solely for just one income, right? Or a different sort of income. But if we want to be financially stable, real estate is actually the way to go. But not a lot of men are willing to teach. So I'm so grateful for my mentors that they're able to teach me how to flip, and then in return they also supported me to teach it to other women. So I travel all over the United States, and I do it as a group at a time. I'm not the type of coach that's going to say buy my online class, because that's not really going to change people's life, right? Where I make my money is house flipping. That's where I'm going to make majority of my money. But I need to figure out a way how to live this purpose and to give back.
Yeah.
So yes, it's for profit. They pay me money when I go to this event. I partner with different real estate women's group that have beginning real estate investor, and I just make it like 12 to 15 people, or more, most so women, because those are women groups. And I put them in a room and stay with me for 2 days. I mean, they have their own hotel room, but they literally live and breathe with me. And I teach them step by step how I do it. Not
Wow.
this is, and I told them, like, this is not how you're going to do this, but this is the path that I took to
Right.
get into where I am. So you could recreate the path, you can change it according to yourself. And then usually I will bring a my best friend who happened to be a licensed therapist, and I would go and bring her in those events. And then they're gonna ask, like, so who do you want to be, what do you want to be? And they're always said, like, oh, I want to be Margie the flipper queen. And we have that, right? I mean, it is very egotistic to, like, oh yeah, I feel good when they say that. But then my goal is for you to be successful. So I told the therapist, we need to stop that. And she also recognized it, because, by the way, hi Susan Amador, she's my best friend and also a licensed therapist that helps my group. And then what she does is she's like, okay, we do know Margie's successful at this, but you're not Margie. So what makes you is what's going to make you successful. And then we teach women how to analyze the deal. I teach them how to look on MLS. I teach them how I get my deals. How do I get money for these deals? And then I have student that took my class today, finish the class, by the next day they find their deals and
Oh,
start flipping.
that
I have, yeah, because my goal is to transform lives. So I'm not going to give you a non-true answer. I'm going to tell you the highs, the lows. I'm going to tell you the crying moments and the successful moments. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it is with no sugarcoating. And then I'm going to teach you the path step by step. If I have a money right now, what would I do to buy a house? And this is what I do. Boom, boom, boom. And
Right.
how would I sell that house?
all right. I have a question.
Yes.
For those who would want to start flipping houses but doesn't have money on hand,
Yes.
can they still do the business?
Yes, they can still do the business, but you have to do the hard work. So you're gonna have to find a flipper in your area that's willing to take a chance on you. So, example, if it takes for you to pull a carpet, because I did that, right? If it takes for you to show up on networking groups where real estate investors are there, and you just keep showing up and asking them questions, willing to work for free. Internship is not dead. What internship is sell it's separate people that wants to do it and separate people that just think they want to do this. So if you're a go-getter, it's only going to take a couple hours of your day to help a flipper. I don't know, demo something, see if you like it. If you don't like it, at least you know. But don't just let it stuck in your head. Like, don't let it stays into your heart. Do something about it. If you wanted to be a nurse, try to volunteer in hospitals. Same thing with flippers, right? If you want to be a flipper, then why are you not in a flip? There's always somebody willing to give you a teaching if you're gonna give them, free time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah. For sure.
wait to observe how it is being done.
Yeah. You
I,
have to
yeah.
be in there.
I'm seeing the parallels between the house flipping and real estate investing with the financial services industry as well. It's also male dominated here in the states. About
Mhm.
80% male. All of my colleagues are males,
Yeah.
and we're trying to break into like the female space as well. So that's a market that we want to get into as well.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing all the
Welcome
parallels.
it, because because back in the day, the roles of the male and female is actually a male provider and a women caretaker. That
Right.
was the norm. That is the rule, and you can't blame it. If I honestly, if I could sit down here and just like take care of the kids and stuff, but at this, I love that. Like I was telling my husband, dude, if you are a doctor, I would not be doing this. Just like just make sure that I look pretty and fine. But in this day and time, that's no longer the case.
No longer applies.
Yeah, so it no longer applies with the society that we have, the inflation that we're getting. We need
The
two
economy that
income
we have.
so so that's when it plays like, okay, then let's teach the women how to fend for themselves. So just in case, it's changing the dynamic of society.
Right. And to be honest, that's one of the endearing qualities that I fell in love with Heidi with. Okay, because she is an
Ba't ako nasali
independent
dito?
woman. I love the independent woman.
I know.
Yeah, it's so yeah. You very obviously, Miss Marge, it's very obvious that you're very passionate about what you do. You're very successful at what you do,
Shows,
and
right?
you really have that knack. I mean, just after 2 years of this business, you've made a name for yourself. The flipper queen with the
Yeah.
crown is not is
I
not
know,
a
and
not a
I
small
want to
thing.
give credit to Alma T. She's one of my business partner, and she's pushed the Flipper Queen really on a stage of success. And
Uh-huh.
she's the one that really, like, I can talk, I can teach, but I'm not good in like marketing and all that stuff. And it's like nobody knows you, nobody's
Right,
gonna.
right.
So basically, trying to find somebody also that believes in you, that catapult you to the next success. She's the one that introduced me the Flipper Queen. I just always said I did 26 houses. And then she started saying the Flipper Queen. And all of a sudden everybody started like getting the name like the Flipper Queen. So I take it, I take
Yeah,
it and honestly, I've opened so many houses
yeah.
and I was just like,
It's
oh
a
well, if you tell me like 1929, I know what's in there. Like
it's
tell me like 1989 house, I know it's there. Like 1979, I know what's there. Like
right.
starting to learn.
Well, that's personal branding that works for you, and it's very well deserved.
Yeah.
As I was saying, you're very passionate about what you do, and can you tell us what is the best thing that you love about what you do?
I think I like the creating part of it, like
Okay.
from something that's really super ugly, like an
Mm-hmm.
ugly duckling, or a house
Right,
that's
right.
safe and making it safe and pretty. And that's actually the best part of
Mm-hmm.
everything that I do. And I just love the day to day of it. I love
Okay.
being around construction workers. They're fun people. They have no qualms. They eat whenever they want to eat, and they just hang out. If they're tired, they rest. And I've learned a lot of them. And I just want to let you know, in United States, you guys, a lot of people look down on construction worker because it is a dirty job, and they think it's like it's a certain group of people or this and that. And it's just like, but I've learned so much from my construction working crew. A lot of them actually own their own houses outright, like they have no mortgage. A lot of them is okay driving a car, but they have bank accounts. And a lot of them are very passionate on what they do. And because of them, they teach me how to be grateful and thankful, and just love what you do. It doesn't matter what other people think, and never judge a book by its cover, because most of them have more money than me, honestly. And I
Blue
love,
collar, man.
yeah,
Blue collar is the backbone of America.
yes, I love it. And I
Yeah,
think,
that's great. What would you say to women out there? Why would it be a good time for them to, to get into this career
yes.
as a career shift?
Well, first of all, there's only 3% of real estate investor women. So it means there is some place for you.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you learn construction, that's where the money is, which I'm actually in the process of getting my own construction license. And that's
Nice.
where actually the money is, because as a woman, like construction worker, get paid right away, right? And so construction manager, which is what I'm good at, it's managing all the construction worker. If I open my business of my own construction company, then I get paid first. instead of getting paid last as a flipper. So
Right.
there's
Yeah.
a balance there. So you can start as a flipper, but in reality, it's hard work. So you have to find a way to like, oh, what would I like? Like I found out I love construction, so that I'm gonna go towards that, right? And for women out there, I just wanted to let you know that if there is a flipper person, it should be you. First of all, you're the one buying the house, not the man. When you go to open houses or you're looking at some stuff, you're like, I like this, like, so you already know what your buyer wants because most of the buyers are women. That's first. But
I
second,
agree.
if you ask me if there's one lesson I want to teach you if you wanted to be in real estate investing world or becoming a flipper, we have to set our emotions aside. Why is there 97% of men in the real estate world? Because they're driven by data and number. There's no emotion involved. The emotion in the flip world has to be set aside. I think like a man. I have a masculine way of thinking when I'm working about my flips. It's data and numbers. So it's, yeah, I will never cry if I cannot put that sink. Like, okay, then we go through a different sink that's cheaper price. Like, I don't care if I cannot get that handle that I like. That's not the point of this job. The point of this job is to make profit. And so I have to set aside my emotions. I have to, right? And that's the superpower of it all.
Oh, that's so great. And in addition to that, I really like the giving back thing that you've been doing, teaching the women to get another source of income aside from really depending on husbands, no?
Right.
Because at this time, hindi na talaga po pwede yon yung isa lang yung my source of income for the family. And that's what really touched me when you did the sharing for GWWR. And I have always told Sunny that, this person really hit me, struck me in how she does things in her life right now.
And I think what a lot of people like me is because I am right here with you guys. As you can see, I'm bubbly. If you ask any person in the whole entire world, my bookkeeper, my accountant, my kids, my sister, like they're gonna say the same thing. Whatever you see her on TV, that's the same thing when you see her in our parties. It's the same person. I don't
Nice.
have any more reason to become a professional. It's like I never mirror anybody. If you don't like me, it's okay because what not to like, like I'm very likable. I don't have to change who I am, for anybody. And that I think that's what age and also the flipping world taught me. I can only be successful because I'm authentic and I'm a different flipper.
Yeah.
And I want to come back like a month later. I want to come back to your show because I have a big announcement to make, and it's like this is really if you're talking about money and more, this is money and more.
Wow!
And it's because through flipping that this. So stay tuned because I'm gonna come back in the show and I'm gonna tell you a month from now. There's something we've been working on to basically solve a big flipper problem.
Nice.
And that if you think about stupid money, this is stupid money. So
Okay.
but because I'm so good at what I do, that I was able to find ways to help the problem of the industry. And that's
Okay.
what we're doing right now with my team. And
All
so I can't
right.
wait to be back in the show to
Nice.
share that.
Right.
Very
Exciting times.
excited for that.
Exciting times. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me though.
Of course. Um.
Our
Yeah.
pleasure.
We have so much. We have so much to talk about, but sadly we don't have the time. Oh no. We have so much to talk about,
Lang talaga
but
tayo, no? We're like,
yeah. But I like to say that this is part one.
yeah,
Okay,
part
part
one.
one of the
Yeah.
series. A series with Miss Marjie Edmonds, the Flipper Queen, the undisputed Flipper Queen, I'd say. Right. It's a great honor for you for us to be with you tonight.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's
Ca- Can't wait to attend in one of your trainings or
Yeah.
seminars by the time I'm there.
yes.
And definitely we'll get in touch.
Yes.
If and
Yeah,
when
it has been an
I'm
19. June 19, I will be teaching in San Jose, California. So I will, I will reach out to Sonny just in case he wants to do
oh
it. And so I'm
sure.
going to teach deal analysis and how to find the Bay Area is still very ripe. When we call Bay Area, San Francisco, San Jose, all that areas
Yeah,
there. It's still very ripe. It's an investing market right now. I'm
right,
finding different areas in there. And even if you're just buying it for your personal home, I could teach you to buy it under a construction loan and then later on turn in it to a personal home. That's how you make money. You sit on
right,
investment and then sell that couple years later and buy three more properties in St. Louis, Missouri.
right. So you and I, you and us
Yeah.
need to talk
Yes.
more. All
Heidi.
right. It's been
I
a
know. I
very
know.
enlightening
Are you
conversation,
coming?
Miss Margie. We will definitely have you in a future episode of Money and More.
Yeah, and I would want to ask if you have socials that we can flash on the screen for our audience to check on the house that has been flipped.
Where
Yeah.
can we find you?
So you can follow me at the Carlet Edmonds at in
Okay.
IG because I'm always there. And then Carlet Edmonds. If you just type Carlet Edmonds anywhere, it's gonna pop up everything
Wow.
about
Carla
me.
Edmonds.
Yes, and
Nice.
you're seeing me dirty and happy and dancing and then crying from my crazy life, and I love it. I'm so grateful.
Yep.
All
Okay. So
right.
that's
So
Carla
thank you
Edmonds.
once again, Miss Marge, for your time tonight. And I'm looking forward to meet you in person soon.
So same
Right.
here. I'll see
Yeah,
you
you're an
guys.
inspiration.
Thank
Take
you.
care and good night.
Good
Thank you and good
night.
night. Oh my goodness. What a very inspiring episode, Sunny. So I guess, yeah. So thank you so much, our dear audience, and we hope to see
I,
you
I
soon.
think
This is our
I think
final. Yes, Sunny, are you there? Yeah,
yeah, I think okay, we're back. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I am richer for having known her just now.
yeah. Let me
So,
know if you're gonna meet here on the 19th and
oh yeah, for
you
sure.
take pictures, huh?
Right. And that's it for us for Money and More. This has been the final episode for season three. It's been a blast. And we'd like to thank our viewers and all of our supporters for being with us over the past year. It's been great. It's been enlightening. We have a bunch of highlights, things that we've learned, things that maybe stories that have inspired. So we'd like to thank you, our viewers, for being with us through the whole ride. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and watch out on our future season, our season 4 of Money and More. We promise to give you better shows
Mhm.
and very good guests in our
Mhm.
upcoming episodes. And looking forward to another season with you guys.
Right. It's been a great journey, Heidi. And thank you to TNC for this opportunity as well to spread financial education and literacy to our viewers. And to our viewers, thank you very much. Okay, this is Sunny Haldon. This has been Sunny Haldon.
And this is Heidi Haldon.
Okay, always remember that your financial future
Is in
is
your
in your
hand.
hands. Good night,
Good night.
everybody.